la 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 la. Normal chords for Deck the Halls, right? Okay, so for those of you joining this stream right now, I apologize for not being able to have two screens work on my computer, but apparently there aren't enough basic resources just in play. Like, my computer, as I was streaming, was like grinding more and more to a halt, and I was seeing like more beach balls everywhere. It was just like your nightmares, you know? So we're just gonna do one screen, and then when I need the keyboard, whose camera is so perfectly positioned up there, check it out. Oh, look at that. Look at how great it is. I mangled two stands together. I figured out how to plug it in. I figured out the exact right angle for everything. Yeah, this is just like going off the webcam stream. So that's why, like, everything is easy, but it's not as high tech. So I probably should have asked for a desktop for Christmas, but now I can't do that because it's too late. But that's okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about Deck the Halls. And, now that my phone isn't being used as a camera, what I'm going to do is, similar to my last live stream, I'm going to just go through parts of it and then talk about each part. So first I used 19-tone equal temperament for 2 verses. And then I used 12-tone equal temperament and 24-tone equal temperament briefly for an interlude. And then I used 31-tone equal temperament for verse 3 and 16-tone equal temperament for verse 4. So here we go. And this is, oh my God. Come out of the thing. Nothing ever comes out of anything. It's like all my equipment hates me, and like my toes are getting stubbed and things like that. I don't even know how that just happened. But anyway, okay. So I was thinking I could just go through it and I could talk about some of the chords I used and how I thought these were good ideas. And then if you all have any questions, I'd love it if you would just pop in and ask anything you want. So yeah, okay, here's the idea. In a microtonal Deck the Halls, I had stumbled across a peculiar chord progression from 12-tone equal temperament that I thought could benefit from the use of 19-tone equal temperament. So here's that progression. You can't really see because I don't have the other camera, but what you can think about is deck the halls with boughs of holly. The chords here are E, G sharp 7, and then like A minor, and maybe you've got like a little like A minor major 7 implied, you know, with some G sharp in it. That's really nice, right? Because it's got like the secondary dominant, which normally goes to here, that can deceptively resolve to major, right? Like maybe in a more normal version, it would go like, deck the halls with boughs of holly. Ooh, nice little 7th. And then it's a major 7th there. But if it goes to minor, you still get that sentimental feeling of sort of the flat 6, right, in the 4 chord. Now, in 19-tone equal temperament, those of you who are already a bit familiar with it would know what happens. What happens is the B sharp in the G sharp 7 major chord goes up by a chromatic, well, no. I guess it's a chromatic semitone, but it's also enharmonic. B sharp goes up to C in the next chord. So, check this out. Deck. Oh, and I don't even remember how to play the chord that I played before. I think it's like this. Yeah. Ooh, no, that's not right. Oh, wow, is that really wide? Or is it here? Maybe it's here. Yeah, I'm just not good at it anymore because I haven't played this enough. Yeah. So this is like technically like a G sharp 7 chord here. Here's how that stacks up. That actually sounds really close, doesn't it? G sharp on my 19-tone guitar is way closer to 12 tones G sharp / A flat than A flat is on the 19-tone guitar. Okay, so that's the idea, right? Deck the halls with boughs of holly. B sharp goes up to C. So let's see. I'm gonna do that in bar chords because I'm really lazy. Let's see. Okay. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. No, boughs of holly. There it is. Yeah. Okay. So deck the halls with boughs of holly. And now I'll try and isolate that other note. Okay. Let's see. So deck the halls with with the bells of holly. Da, 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 da. Pretty neat, right? So that's that little change in G sharp 7 going to A minor. So this little idea that I found in 19-tone equal temperament is the germ or the motive for all of the chord progressions in the piece that are sort of making use of microtonal voice leading. And so I wanted to put that in to keep it a little bit consistent, like especially in like the 31-tone section, except in the 31-tone section, since we're in D flat major, the progression changes and becomes augmented so that I can also take use of more enharmonic movement. So in that situation, F augmented, where the spelling does matter, of course, since it's 31-tone equal temperament. In 31-tone equal temperament, F augmented goes to G flat minor 7. And the distance between A and B double flat in those chords, as well as C sharp to D flat, both of those move by a diesis, so 1/31st of an octave. So you get this really cool shift, even though the chord progression is supposedly spelled the same. So that is the thing that I'm doing in sort of the whole arrangement. Okay, so now let's go through the arrangement a little bit itself and talk about some things that I did. Just going through it bit by bit. Let's see, videos. Ooh, I could watch myself live and it would be really weird. Now, we're not going to play with time travel like that. Now, in that part, a little bit at the end, I'm using some linear harmony. And I also used the D chord, which is a subtonic that's a little bit out of key. So that's not very unusual in 12-tone equal. Well, it's not unusual in 19-tone equal temperament. It might be unusual in 12-tone equal temperament. Bum, bum. Oh, my God. Bum, 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 ba, 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 ba. D major, bum, 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 bum. And I'm trying to remember what this chord is here. I actually honestly don't remember it. It has like a B flat in it. And there's like, it's a weird like linear harmony that shifts to B7. So its entire purpose is to be a little bit of a weird chord that is kind of like, you think might be a secondary dominant, but then just shifts up to the dominant chord. And then it just goes right back there. So that's pretty straightforward. And then the chords that are happening here, I really should have done this stream sooner when I remembered how to play everything. But follow me in merry measure. That part there is actually something you can also do a little bit in 12, where a 5 chord, follow me in merry measure. This 5 chord goes to like a flat 6. But it's augmented, so it would be like B7 going to C augmented. And then I think I had some other chords where I went fa la 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 la. And I think in there it's pretty basic voice leading, but I also do another cadence to another augmented chord that's very similar. So like if a B7 chord goes to C augmented, an E chord can go to F augmented, and then does some other stuff to go to the 5 chord. So, but the part I'm really interested in is around the corner. So I'm singing kind of high here. I've got 2 angles on the guitar playing. Ooh, that doesn't work in 12, does it? Okay, so that part has a really basic idea that I'm a little bit proud of because it actually kind of works. Is where like, originally I was playing like, troll the ancient Yuletide. And then like if I've got this G sharp 7 chord here, going to the A minor chord, initially I played a bass line where I had B sharp in it. Or nope. Let's see. And then it goes down to A, so it kind of disguises that motion. But as verse 1 goes farther and farther, I'm more and more interested in making B sharp to C pop out until it's literally in the melody. And we'll talk about that in a second, sort of the other idea that I had to enhance this song a little bit with microtonality. So, troll the ancient Yule. Going up from B sharp to C, Yuletide carol. And then what happens is by bass line, I just continue to proceed up by chromatic semitones or degrees of 19, and then that eventually gets me to the E of the last part. So we have like troll, here's an E, or you could think of it as B. Like if you think of the bass line, be the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la la, and I skip one for D. Fa la 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 la, and then we're back. So I skipped D flat in that little line, but like it's okay to have that skip because I was going to D already in the previous chord progression. So it's like the way I'm writing these lines, the harmony, even if it is unusual, stays kind of with its own little consistent syntax of having, like, if you're in E major, having G sharp 7s going to A minors, and a couple like C chords that are augmented or minor, as well as having F sharp 7 chords. So the part where I'm not singing words, where it's a little interlude here, G sharp 7, A minor, F sharp 7, B, C minor. Okay, so an explanation of that. So with that little verse part, bum 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 bum, and then when I go to F sharp right after the A minor chord, that's a really nice jump because the F sharp major chord is a 5 of 5 that sets up B, but the fact that it's got A sharp and C sharp in it means that I can take the A and the C of the previous chord and just go boop, just up one. Whereas in 12, that wouldn't work. So it gives me access to voice leading where I can easily shift by 1/19 of an octave, and that was kind of the goal. Like, to be able to shift by 1/19 of an octave a lot while still having chords that are pretty familiar, I think is like just wrinkling enough for most people where they're like, ooh, I don't quite know what this is, but maybe I can accept it. But yeah, so I also, if you hear me singing in that low octave there that's here, oh wow, I didn't think I could do that. I was expecting to try that and fail, but on that particular time when I was recording it, I wasn't planning to put it in there, but then I just started singing and realizing I was having a really relaxed day and my voice was super low, so I was like, oh my god, I have to do that because it's there and it almost never is. And I've been practicing singing a lot lower in this too to get more stuff to happen. So that's one of the reasons I put that in there. It's also doubled with a little bass line. So, explanation of the chord progression. Here we go. We've got that E, da, 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 and then da, 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 da. So, oh, it doesn't actually go back to E, and I kept forgetting that when I was playing it too. That very first time, it kind of resolves up deceptively, right? You might expect something, like if I were playing this in 12 and all of the cool voice leading was gone. The idea is that you're taking advantage of like a 5 chord going deceptively to a flat 6, where it's got that tonic note in it. You're borrowing from the parallel minor, da, da, da. But instead, I go to the minor chord, and I also make it a minor major 7th, similarly to how I've done with the A minor major 7 and the G sharp 7. So it's restating that theme a bit. And my bass note that I'm singing is actually E. So this results in a really, really weird chord that technically is like E, C, E flat, G, B. But as a little like signpost that kind of points you on the E, it totally works. Because I can start the verse over again at the tonic chord, and all of those notes kind of fade in nicely. You can also hopefully hear it in an upper voice that I don't quite resolve to E yet. I was trying to emphasize the fact that when B7 goes to C minor, you get this little D sharp, E flat, E action. So let's listen to that for a second and see if we can hear it. Oh my God, phone, please be nice. G sharp, A minor, F sharp. Hear it when I sing along? So it doesn't quite get there, and then it does. So that's the whole idea. Now let's talk about that last part of verse 1, and then we'll be ready to move on to verse 2 and meter changes. Okay. Whistling. C sharp minor. Okay, and then that's the transition to the next part. So what's happening here? Well, the second idea I had, the first idea is a secondary dominant going to a chord a half step up. Let's see. Oh, my mom is, I'm clicking on the old YouTube link. So because she is darling and I want her to see everything, I am going to tell her how to do this. Go to my page and click on new stream. Also, it is boring music theory. And the old link did not work. Okay, great. That'll work. Let's see. What's the most tones you can have in an equal tempered tuning before it sounds real messed up? That's a really good question. Well, it all depends on how you use the tuning. It's like if you had 5,000 EDO, but you only used like 1,000 EDO plus a different note that was like a tiny, like 5,000th of an octave away from that tone, like, you wouldn't really have 5,000 EDO. I don't know what you would really have, but a lot of that really depends on how you choose to use the tuning. So if you take a really fine tuning that has a super high number of notes, but you don't create any microtonal voice leading, and you don't create any series of intervals that add in a contradictory way to what we're used to hearing, you don't get something Zen harmonic or anything that sounds messed up at all. So yeah, that's the idea with a big tuning. A relevant quote might be Ivor Derrick's excellent quote where he says that around 45 to 55 notes, I'd agree with him, per octave, you get this scenario where if you try and aim for a pitch class and sing with it, you might accidentally hit the next pitch class, or at least pitch classes start to blur into each other when things get really, really close. So that's a good cutoff for that kind of question. There are lots of different ways to answer the question, like, what's the biggest tuning we should use or could practically use? One thing I explored on the Emoji album, but only in like a satirical and non-concrete way. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress, unsurprisingly. Okay, so let's talk about that second idea, okay? The second idea is, in the normal song, you've got... Same thing. Oh my god, what? Okay. It's telling me my connection is unstable, which I don't like one bit. So I think that went away. Are we good, everyone? Wonderful fans, are we doing okay? Okay, great. I think it takes like a little while for people to hear what I'm saying. I can't talk. Okay, so this is the different part. There's so basically there's a chunk of the melody. There's another chunk of the melody. There's a third slightly different part that starts in the dominant chord traditionally, and then there's a fourth part that has this part that goes la 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 la. So that part la 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 la, where I'm on the same note, I consider that an opportunity to make lots of microtonality happen. So there were two things that I did, and the first thing that I did was in 19-tone equal temperament, I shifted it into the parallel minor, and then I widened the distance between scale degrees. And then I widened the distance between scale degrees 4 and 5. And I'll explain how I did that in a second. And then the other thing I did was I split the major second that makes that happen, la 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 la, into pieces. And in 24-tone equal temperament, that just lines right up with the rhythm of having 4 notes. But in 31, you've got 5 notes. So you have to make it a little bit different. So like in 24-10, that's like la 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 la, right? Da 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 da. Yeah. But yeah, splitting it right there. And then in 31, splitting it in a different way. But here's 19-tone equal temperament. So, and we could actually spell these out with notes. Ba-da-ba-dum. Don't know where G sharp is. Ba-da, 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 ba-da. Yeah, where are you? There it is. No, here it is. Oh, that's F minor. La 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 la. So, anyone know what's going on? Anyone? All right, I'll tell you. The first part is probably easier to figure out than the second part, but it causes a widening. So imagine that you're playing normally in 12-tone equal temperament, and you decide to make the 4-chord minor when you are singing the fa la 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 part. So you've been in this key, and you go fa la 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 la, right? You could go C C C C B A G sharp F sharp E. It's like flat 6 and then the 5 4 3 2 1. Now, what we've done in 19 is we've made the 5 a sharp 5, which is different than flat 6 now. And we've made the 4 a flat 4. So that causes the difference between scale degrees 4 and 5 in this one tiny little part of the melody to be a minor third away from each other instead of a major second. So here, I'll try singing it again in 19-tone equal temperament. The idea is that, well, let's see. There we go. Fa la, like normally, this would go fa la 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 la. I'm not good at guitar. La la. Actually, oh wait, I teach guitar. Just kidding, I am good at it. I'm not good at 19-tone guitar. That's okay. Yeah. So that would be like if we were putting the melody, if we were just translating a melody from 12 into 19 that used major flat 6 just as a standard mode, we could say C C C C B A G sharp F sharp E. Sorry, let's do that again. C C C C B A G sharp F sharp E. But in its new version is C C C C B sharp A flat G sharp F sharp E. So it's normal on the bottom. Bum 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 bum. But now there's a minor third between scale degrees 4 and 5. And so I'm harmonizing that with some chords that I've already used. But for the A flat that leads down into the G sharp, I'm just cheaply using the linear harmony of F minor. So the harmony is kind of like this. It's very linear because that was easy for me to play, and it also accentuated what I was doing in a way where somebody could hear that like it was right, but also really, really not how they're used to having the melody being sung. The contour is the same though, right? So it still works. Okay, so here it is. A minor and then G sharp, F minor, E, B, E. So that's kind of where we are. So imagine that in A minor. In A minor, we have that C, B sharp. We go down 1/19 of an octave, G sharp, and then that note's hard to hit because it's just 1/19 above the root of the chord that we were just on. But as long as we go to the F minor soon enough, we have A flat, G sharp, F sharp, E. So that was what I did for that section, is I just widened the distance between scale degrees 4 and 5 because I could. There's lots of really cool things you can do. Like if you're a 19-tone equal temperament and you're kind of out of ideas, a really cool thing to try is just try playing a melody that you would normally play in 12, but then take the diatonic semitones and make them chromatic, if that's applicable. I think you'll find that it's a great exercise. You don't have to use MOS scales. So yeah, okay. So that's the deal with that part. Oh wow, we're 26 minutes in. I better actually talk about these next parts. Let's talk about that transition for a little bit. Oh my God, headphones. You do not need to fall down ever because you are expensive. Okay, I'm gonna put them in a place where they will never fall again. There we go. That's very close to the ground, so it has almost no potential energy. Okay, there we go, and we're back. Okay, so during that part where we've just done the compressed melody idea, where we go fa la 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 la, but we don't actually go to E. We go la la. We go to C sharp minor, so it's a deceptive progression. So you think maybe it's cadenced in the relative minor and it might go there, but instead, you can do this in 12/10. It's not harmonic. You can use this as a pivot, as a 4 chord with the 5th on the bottom to go right into G sharp minor, or G sharp major. See the blazing you before us, la 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 la. And now we're in 6/8 also. So there's a new feel that's established with the 6/8 meter, and I also play a lot of G sharp, so you really get in your head, oh wow, we're actually in G sharp now. And then this is a really cool part because I thought it had all this neat joy to it, and I added the shaker, and it was fun. I don't have a shaker at my house, but I was using this can and put cat food in it, and my cat was really interested in it the entire time. And I thought that was kind of fun. So, but there weren't any cute videos of her sticking her nose in there or anything. Oh God. Okay, so yeah, we have a part that moves into G sharp major, pivoting via C sharp minor. And the fact that we've been playing G sharp so much as a secondary dominant in the first key links together these two keys in a nice way. You're sort of used to hearing this relationship, even if you can't pick up on exactly why. So then the next part is in G sharp, and it's fairly straightforward, even though it's in 6/8. So imagine, if we were in 4/4, see the blazing you before us. But 6/8, see the blazing you before us. And as we'll see later, you can think of it as a fast 3/4 because we go to 5/8 in the next section. So that's fun. And that's where I think hopefully the 12th tone got spicy enough. But yeah, and then I was just harmonizing that diatonically in a really basic way. The thing that's strange about this is you might actually not notice it from listening. I've had a lot of people not notice, but what key are we in when we go to that different part? I go to E major instead, because I thought it would be cool, and then it also had the added bonus of me not having to learn chords in G sharp major to play. I mean, I could have, but I actually liked it in E better. So I'd sing that little third part that's different in the old key, even though I'm in G sharp major. It's G sharp, E major, and then G sharp. And since I land on a G sharp chord in the end of that section, it brings it back home to the tonic in a way. I'm also using C sharp minor to approach it in that part. So since that can all be analyzed really diatonically, I'm going to kind of gloss over it a little bit. The way I'm doing the screens, by the way, is with HitFilm. And HitFilm is really slow on my computer, but it's also really effective. Usually if I export a movie, I have to export it like before probably midnight, because usually I have to wake up early the next day. I always have to wake up early for no reason. And what happens is if I'm up too late editing a movie and I export it, the next day it might not be done. So I actually have to get done pretty like early in the evening, if before midnight is early for you. And then the movie has to be exporting all night and then hopefully be done by the next day. So yeah, it takes a really long time to export movies, but it does a great job with what I've got. In fact, I'd love to get a more high definition camera so that I can have like a cool thing where there's like 6 of me singing, but then it zooms out like really far and there's like 40 of me. I think that would be really neat. Surprise White Christmas medley or something. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But yeah, anyway, back to the G sharp major section. So that's verse 2. It's in G sharp. I use screens to get myself to sing cool drones. And the way I put myself together in that big room, you can see that this is just like the main room of my apartment, and there's 3 of me, and they're decorating. For all of this singing, I am miming, which is really neat. I think it makes it nice because I can like play with facial expressions more. And this is really dumb, but if I'm singing and I'm miming along and I'm faking, if I don't actually sing, what happens is my mouth just like accumulates so much drool. It's horrible. And oh my goodness, it's just so bad. Let's see. Oh, good question, Brandon. I'm in Indiana. So I live in Indianapolis, which is not where people expect me to be from, but that's okay. Good old Indiana. But yeah, okay. Oh, there was supposed to be a 4th guy in that room, by the way. But I was wearing like my little antlers that light up. They're not in here. But I pressed them like at a few times to get them to blink, and like they get too much in like the 3rd guy's space. The 4th guy was like hanging up tinsel on the furniture for no reason. So I had to cut the 4th guy out because his antlers just mixed too much with the 3rd guy. So whenever I like do something like that again, if I ever have time at all, I will like not draw lines, but I'll be like really specific about it. I was trying to be like sort of specific when I was doing that. But yeah, I do love that that gag where everybody is in the same room. The green shirt also it didn't play nice with the green screen, because when I'm editing, I really hate in video editing software lining things up. I just think it's terrible. I don't like using frames. I don't like not having bars and not having beats or anything like that. And I know there are probably some high-tech people who know how to incorporate that, but I'm just not going to bother. The thing that I do, which is weird, is that, Reaper actually works with video, but there are some interesting constraints. The first constraint is that you can't layer anything, and you can't export multiple layers at the same time. So what I do in Reaper is I use Reaper as just like a thing that lines up all of the videos and makes the video and audio go together. Because in a video editing software, that's so hard. So I line all that up, and then I export the stems of the movies one at a time. But sometimes I can't do that if the project is more complicated. So with this project, there's situations where screens are popping in and out. So if screens are ever just not there in the main viewer, then I need to put a green screen in the background. Reaper also does a weird thing with video where the video that it plays, correct me if I'm wrong, I might not know about this. There might be some tips and tricks that I don't know. But through experimentation, what I've figured out is that Reaper only plays the video that is like on top. And what I mean by that is, like, if you've got tracks in a line, you might have like tracks like 1, 2, 3. Let's say they're all video and they're all full. If you just played it from the beginning in the viewer, you would see track 1. Now, if you delete a little bit of track 1 at the beginning, leaving content on tracks 2 and 3 until a little later when it gets to all of them, then if you played it at the beginning, you would see track 2 until you got to where 1 was, and then you would see 1. So the idea is that if I put a green screen over everything at the bottom, I can create a video track of every single instance of video with a big green screen under it, so that I can then go into HitFilm and click green screen, and then I have those single screens like sliced off into their respective sessions without having to like go in and edit when they appear and disappear, which would be horribly meticulous and terrible. And like still what I'm doing is really meticulous and terrible, but it works for me and I'm used to it. So there's that. So that's kind of how I edit the video into place. And that's why you see, like when I'm walking into the other room with my shirt, you can see in my shirt the other video of people playing in the room while I'm doing it. I was too lazy to eliminate the green screen in that one instance. So the green screen method is not perfect because it can result in, say, if I'm wearing a green shirt, funky things are going to happen. And the same thing happened in my Stop Your Creativity in 6 to 7 Simple Steps video, except in there, it looked a lot more like a cool effect and that I did it on purpose. So that's kind of the method there of how I do things. Now, I did actually edit out the green screen problem with the big room, and I only needed to do it with 2 of the people. The person who's hanging up the tree and the person who's playing the guitar. The person who's building the reindeer is against such like an inoffensive background that the shirt doesn't really look like wrong or anything. So I put black screens behind those other 2 just so that their shirts wouldn't look like really weird and crazy. Yes, it is a wild process. So yeah, okay, that's that second verse. Now I think we're ready for the third verse. Or actually, it's an instrumental. This is the part where we switch to 12. Notice this is a G sharp in 19, but it's close in 12. I didn't do that on purpose. I didn't tune my 19-tone guitar so that G sharp would be close to 12, but it was so close. I think the G sharp one is like a little, well, wait, let's listen on my phone. Or no, we have the real thing here. It just might not be the same as the video. So like the 19-tone G sharp is just a tiny bit flat of the 12-tone G sharp. But that worked out so well that I decided that I just wanted to shift to F minor and 12-tone equal temperament. And now the groove has shifted again into 5/8. So there's also lots of glue that I use to glue the sections together where like, certain instruments are playing in one section, moving to the next section. So if I'm moving from verse 1 in E to verse 2 in G sharp, I'm gluing that together by the singers who sing the big C sharp chord and then slide down and then sing a big like ah over a drone. So that's kind of my glue there. And then my glue going into this 5/8 section is the singers again, really. So yeah. Now I don't think I can get my camera this high so that you can see this part here, but and I've forgotten a lot of the chords I've played, unfortunately. So let's see if I can even do it. Let's see. Okay, this chord goes up. I have like so much crap on my desk that I have to move it in order to do anything important. So, oh, well, I guess we're not going to charge anymore. That's cool. All right. I think if I get it to be right there, that's going to be good enough. Now, I'm really hoping that what I can do is share my screen, because for the 31-tone section, I've got a lot of stuff notated out. So, okay, please work. Okay, that's good enough, right? Okay, let's try that. Does the piano look okay, everybody? Everybody who's still there? Is anyone still with us? Okay, here we go. So, here's the next idea. So we were in E, and we were singing in E, and then we were singing in G sharp, and then, now look, I can sing the melody in the exact same place, but now I'm thinking A flat because F minor is an easier key to notate and think about. So the idea is that the melody is now in the 7th. Except it's in 5/8. So this also gave rise to a lot of polyrhythms that I'm not like playing against the 5, but they're kind of just there by their own because that's how you would sing them. So if the melody is like that little part right there is a 4 on 5, but you don't play the 5. Like I didn't want to like meticulously play it 5 on 4 in my hands and have it be like a little bit wrong or whatever. So I just do, yeah, just like kind of a roll. Well, let's see. I think I'm like subconsciously kind of like putting 3 in it. And there's also a lot of other 3 on 5 that's happening in the section where like I get to the end of the melody and I do something different. Since this part wasn't 12, I needed it to be spicy. So that's really basic because in F minor, this is like the 1, but it's like the minor 7. And then this is like the 4/7. 1, 7 again, minor, and then the 5. So you could really think of this as just being like straight up in F Aeolian in a very easy way, except the melody is a third higher than if you were to put it in the key. Like, let's say we were wanting to play an F minor. We would actually like start on the C, but we've recontextualized it as being a 7th. And it works because we have already been hearing it for so long. So that works. So I do that twice to establish the new key of kind of an F Aeolian, and then I'm trying to remember what I do next. Da, 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 da. Okay. I think what I did was at the end of the melody, I used the whole tone scale to provide some interest, some descending interest. And the idea there is, let's see. You know what? I'm going to listen to it again because I don't remember the chords. Ha! Okay. Oh, okay. I think I know what's happening. Let's see. One more time. Oh, okay. So what happens is the chord progression is debased. Very debased. It's based on a descending whole tone scale. I'm losing everybody's interest. I see the viewer count is going down. So I'm going to have to skip to the 31 part really soon or something. But yeah, anyway, that part there, let's see. This part here, you'd have an E flat 7, like going to A flat. And then the descending line, it sort of acts like it's in the relative major, how you would think it would. But then here, we're descending down in a bass line, A flat, G. It's like this is an E flat 7, F minor 7, E flat minor 6, and then ba 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 ba, and then yeah, or no, it's minor. So that part here, this is a change that kind of gets to a different key. It hits at E instead. So right here, let's see. We've just done in merry measure, and then this here. Normally the melody goes, and then it might go back there like normally. If we were being normal with the subtonic cadence about it. But here, what happens instead is it starts on D minor 7, C minor 7, and then B flat minor 7, G sharp minor 7, or A flat minor 7. I guess I'll switch to G sharp here. And it also takes this opportunity to, after it's used the sharp 4 of A flat, which is like the normal 6th of F minor, it also takes the opportunity to, instead of using this scale degree here, using this one. To sound even more unusual, because all that needs to happen for that part, right, is it needs to do this and then go up by a 4th. But now that you've got this unusual scale degree, it's hinting at what's to come, as well as fitting in with a G sharp minor 7 chord, instead of a minor major. So an overall, da, 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 and then, let's see, I think this is, an F sharp minor. Da, da, da. And then what happens here, you could continue down in the whole tone scale and go, da, 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 like thinking of like F sharp minor, E minor, D minor, but I wanted the roots to do something interesting that would hint the new part. So then, I go F sharp minor with a 9th in it, F sharp, and then E's in the melody, da, and then this is like an E minor 7 with a G in the bass, da, 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 and then here, this is a D minor 7th chord with an A in the bass. So that is kind of acting a little bit four-like relative to E, which is where we want to go. Because when we shift to E here, right this, we've recontextualized the melody again, but only in this little last part. And then we use a similar whole tone trick right to get back to our like F minor thing. So it's like in the first part, you know how we were doing things where like if Deck the Halls has like 4 little parts, and the third part is just a little different with chords, and then the fourth part has like a slight fa la 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 part in it. It's like here, the first part is just like F minor Aeolian, F minor Aeolian, and then like acting like it's going to be an A flat relative major, but really doing whole tony stuff to get us to E, sort of. And then the fourth one is E, and then it does whole tony stuff to get us back to F Aeolian. And then it just does that again, but in a little bit different of a way. Let's see. How much training went into the pitch range of your voice? It's crazy. I've been, I haven't been interested in my range until recently, I don't think. Maybe in like the past 5 years. Just because like in college it wasn't really important. But since I have like the voice straight up just like tenor, that was really helpful for when I was in choirs. So people really liked it when I was there because I could sing some high notes. So I definitely am stronger at singing high notes than low notes. And if we were to talk about some good range stuff, I think practicing singing lower notes and high notes every day has gotten my voice like more used to everything. So it's definitely a use it or you lose it kind of thing. So like I think on a good day, let's see, can't quite do that. I can do like an F today. Earlier I did an E because I was more relaxed, but now I've been talking about music theory, so I'm all tense. Yay. So I can, if I'm really lucky, I can do chest voice down to E flat or D. D is like probably the absolute lowest. I can do a C occasionally, but not very often. And then these here, like these super like basement notes, I've been learning to subharmonically sing. That's very helpful to me. It's where you hold a note, and then what you try and do is you try and shift the back part of your throat into vocal fry in such a way that it resonates with your upper note. But oftentimes when I do it, I just get a completely different note instead. But that's okay because I can still like sample it and use it and just, I have a session that's just called low notes where I just sing a bunch of low notes and try, and there's lots of failure, but there's lots of low notes that really worked in there. So I use those low notes for this song to sing the low D flats that you're hearing, and or D half flats, as we'll get to. So yeah, and I think I don't know if I could demonstrate it. Maybe I could try. Like I've been doing. It's being grainy today, but like that's kind of the idea. I haven't actually done it in a few days. I've been really busy with other stuff. But yeah, the subharmonic singing is how I get so low. So good. I'm glad we digressed there. That was pretty fun. So anyway, going to E major. So the E major idea, we just did and now oh damn, what's the next chord? I should know this. That can't be right. Hold on. Oh man, did I put a split in there with like A sharp and A? I really hope not. You know what? I'm gonna look at the video. That'd be kind of cool if I put a split in there because I really like rushed this, I think, and so there's actually another part where I put a split in unintentionally because of a linear harmony, but it doesn't sound bad at all, so I didn't catch it. Oh, okay. Right. I have to go la 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 la. And so then there's this whole tone connection. Right, because it's the fourth one and we do la 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 when we do that. So chords here are E major 7 and E major 7, A major 7, E major 7, da da da. No, not quite. What happens there? Oh, I gotta remember that chord. Da, da, da. But anyway, when I'm descending down this whole tone scale, the way that works is it gives me some nice access to G7 and C minor, but the note that I'm on also gives an 11th. And then I'm leading back to here. So this note here, I'm singing the F against the C minor 7. So this is like 5, 5, 5 minor, and then back. So that's how that works. But I really want to know kind of what that in-between chord is. So let me listen again, see if I can remember. Oh, maybe it is just straight up moving to G. Huh. Wait. Oh, it's a B. That's right. Okay, so here's the idea is about the chords moving. Okay, so you're going A major 7, E major 7, da da, and now that's a B chord. That sounds like it's gonna go back to E, da da da, and then when we go down to here, da da da. The hope is that like in that key, maybe you're going from B to E, da da da. Right? That could be a cadence in like parallel minor, but instead it continues. Da, 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 da. So it goes down the whole tone scale. Da, 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 da. So I'm using the whole tone scale, but not whole tone harmony. I'm using circle fifths harmony with whole tone scale being sung. So those are sort of the two ways I've used it. And then the other time that I use it at the end, it's a bit more complicated because it's got a few more augmented chords and stuff in it. But I'm going to quickly move to the 31 tone section. Because, let's see, I've got stuff to do today besides this, as much as I would love to talk about this all day. So, let's see. Oh, let's talk about that little ending there. Okay, so that part is where I've split the notes up. Right? Splitting up scale degree 6. And I also, when I start on that melody there, I just start in D flat. So that springboards us into getting ready for D flat in the 31 tone section. So now what I'm going to try and do, I don't think I can do this, but maybe, no, I don't think I can share my screen. But I can talk about the 31 tone section a little bit. So let's give that a try. And I can also talk about what I did for the 24 tone chords. I think what I did is, I have them written down here somewhere. I don't know where they went because like I wrote it down, but I don't quite remember how I did it because what happened was I looked at the top notes slinking down and I tried to figure out what kinds of really chromatic mediant relationships would work, where if I moved between notes of the chords, I would get small microtonal voice leading. And I did the same thing in the 31, but I extended it. So now let's talk about the 31 tone section. So the 31 tone section was the hardest because I think it probably sounded the most microtonal, so it was the hardest to get to sound palatable. And I'm also drifting up the entire time. So this is my first time doing a Jacob Collier style pitch drift. So I hope I did okay. The idea is that I was drifting up from D flat over the course of that entire verse to D half flat. But there's probably a little bit more bias at the end. And this is because if you've been in the right key, let's see, I'm going to change it. Perform transpose 6. And I'm going to crank the volume so we can actually hear it. Can you guys hear that? Okay, cool. Probably everybody can. So, if you play, like in the 16 note layout, here's an octave where like C is, where C has like the fewer black keys and the more black keys. If you go to that second pitch class, that is the same as D half flat in 12th tet, right? Because 16 tone equal temperament gives you that 150 cent interval. So here, let's play up. So that D half flat that I was aiming for. It's weird because I know it's transposed right, but when I'm thinking of that in like an absolute pitch way to kind of aim for when I'm singing, that's how I'm doing it. But when I get there, I feel like the D half flat that's given by 16th, which is also just the same as 12th, it sounds like more like D flat to me than D. So I kind of thought I did it wrong for a while, but that's okay. Ooh, let's see if we can do, let's do more organ volume. Is that okay? How about that? Is that better? Maybe that's better. Maybe it's not. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So anyway, all right. We were talking about 16-tone a bit, but first I'm going to talk about 13-tone drift a bit. Not 13-tone, as cool as that would be. 31-tone. Okay, so I think I have Dorico open. Do I? Nope. Guess not. Okay, I get to click on it again, which is good for me. So I was using Dorico to notate the pitches here, and then I also used them for guide tracks. So I sung along to all of them, and then I mimed each singing part. So that's how I did it with the video. Let's see. Oh, come on. Open with Dorico 2. I tried to buy Dorico 3, but it was being insane. And now my computer thinks I should always open in Dorico 3, but then I don't have the license for it, even though I thought I bought it. And I know there's a real way to do it, but I just don't have I didn't have